And you might wonder, I mean, it's very nice, Garfunkel, but why is he talking about that? What does that have to do with this? Well, if you give me a few minutes, you'll find out. Max, are we being recorded now?
Yes.
Okay. So, Torah tells us as follows, that in Parshas Mishpatim, Torah tells us, this is a very nice piece from the Beis HaLevi, the concept of Nasa v'Nishma. We're all familiar with that? The Jewish people, when they received the Torah, they said, first they said, we'll do it, and by the way, what is it? What are we accepting? As opposed to first asking what something is, and then saying, whether or not. It's like, I would like you to marry this man. No women will say, okay, they only ask one question.
Is he cute?
What does he do?
No, is he cute?
How much does he make? Very good, right? So no women would just say, I'll go get married.
The opposite way.
They don't do that. So the Jewish people said, Nasa v'Nishma. What a great thing. They didn't say what's in it. They just said right away, we'll take it. And then they, by the way, what is it? Okay. So the Gemara says that when the Jewish people, when they said Nasa before Nishma, so they were zocher, they merited to these two crowns. One was corresponding to Nasa, one was responding to Nishma. So the question is, why does the Gemara say when they said Nasa before Nishma? It should just say, when they said Nasa v'Nishma, they should get the two crowns. So it's mashma like we said before. It was only because they said Nasa before Nishma that they merited to get the two crowns. So why is that? And then I'm going to explain what it has to do with Tisha B'Av. The Zohar tells us that the Nasa is going on doing mitzvos, and Nishma is going on studying Torah. Again, Nasa is on Kabbalah's mitzvahs, and Nishma is on learning Torah. Now, we know that by Limud Torah, as they say in Yeshivish, if Shlomo was here, he'd appreciate it. There are two dinim, two aspects of Limud Torah. One is, in order to know what the halachas are. If you don't know what you're allowed or not allowed to do on Shabbos, you're going to break Shabbos. So it's just push it. You want to keep the mitzvahs. If you don't learn Torah, you're not going to know what it says in the mitzvahs. So you're not going to be able to do the mitzvahs properly. But there's a higher level of Limud Torah, not just as a way to be able to have mitzvah performance, but there's a higher level of Limud Torah, and that is Torah because it's a mitzvah itself. Because Hashem said to study Torah, not only because it brings to mitzvah performance, but the actual study of Torah itself. Like coming to this class. That itself is a mitzvah. Not only because studying Torah helps you perform the mitzvahs properly. Or in those classes, all class not really halakha class, but you learn Musa, you learn different types of inyanim. But besides the actual information that you gather, and you grow as a person by studying the Torah, because by gathering the information, but the actual studying of Torah itself is a mitzvah. Now, for example, women, they don't have this higher madrega of Torah for the sake of studying Torah. They just have Torah in order for them to keep the mitzvahs that they have to keep, the negative commandments, and the few positive commandments that applies to them. They learn Torah in order to know how to keep the mitzvahs. But not this higher level that men have of Torah, l'shem Torah, Torah just for study of Torah. Now, this is very important, and this is the point that we're going to focus on over here. So for men, studying Torah is not just a hechetimsa, something that you have to do, a prerequisite to keeping a mitzvah. The studying Torah itself is the mitzvah. By women, it's not. The women, they are exempt from Torah study. What do they have? They have to keep Shabbos. So if they don't know what they are allowed or not allowed to do on Shabbat, they may violate it. They can't eat something that's not kosher. So they study the laws of kashrus to know what they may not eat. But that's it. It's just for women, it's only just a way to keep the mitzvah. But for men, it's not only just a way to keep a mitzvah, the actual study itself is a mitzvah itself, not just because it brings to greater performance of a mitzvah. Good?
It's correct.
The example that the Beis Halevi uses, Hanachas Tefillin. The reason why you put on tefillin, men, right? Lubavitch makes sure every male puts on tefillin throughout the whole world.
Times a day.
Okay? So the reason the tefillin itself is a mitzvah, not because it brings to other things. It's a mitzvah itself.
So what's not a mitzvah itself that will bring to mitzvahs? Can you give me an example?
Give you an example of what?
The opposite. Something
what?
that's not really a mitzvah, you're just learning how to do a mitzvah.
Women's study of Torah.
So right, because they're not chiyuv to study Torah.
Right.
Studying Torah.
They're potter from Torah study. So how do they make birchas HaTorah? They're potter.
Right.
So that's a very good discussion. So there are a lot of answers to that question. One answer is they're obligated to study Torah, the mitzvahs that they're obligated in.
Oh, so what? Say an answer to the question.
Why not?
Because they don't have to say it.
Very good. So that's the Vilna Gaon's Taina. The Vilna Gaon's Taina is we can call this shot of the Zaydel Gaon. Doesn't have to be the Vilna Gaon. The Miami Gaon's kasha is. I think we discussed this once. I think that's where we got it from, Shmuel. Unless you're just a big Lambden. We discussed this once. That's the Beis Halevi. That's the Vilna Gaon's kasha. What are you talking about? That they make birchas Torah because they're obligated to study the halachas of the mitzvahs that they're obligated in. No, that's not because they're obligated in Torah study. That's because, like I said before, they can't keep Shabbos if they don't know what the laws of Shabbos are. Not because they're obligated to study Torah in those mitzvahs.
It should be it's like a mitzvah not learning Torah. I mean, I don't know how. It's like an addition to.
It's very good. It's a hechsher mitzvah.
Right.
It's a preparatory mitzvah. But the mitzvah itself for women is not a mitzvah itself. It's just a way to get to proper performance of the mitzvah. So.
I just want to make it clear. Like, are you saying like you have to learn it because you have to keep Shabbos?
Correct. And you can't keep Shabbos unless you learn the halachas.
No, but are you saying though the fact that she is learning now, she does not get any credit whatsoever until she actually just keeps Shabbos?
No. There is a concept of a person that's not obligated on a mitzvah. They still get reward for doing a mitzvah, but not as much as a person who is commanded in the mitzvah. So when a woman studies Torah, obviously she won't get as much reward as for a man.
So I was saying though, she's not necessarily getting a mitzvah for studying Torah. Obviously it's a connection, but I'm saying the mitzvah starts now, the second.
Very good.
So
that's a very good point. So I can use this point to explain this even better. So when a woman studies Hilchot Shabbos, is she studying Torah? Not really. She's fulfilling the mitzvah of Shabbos. How? By studying the halachas. If you don't study the halachas of Shabbos, you're not going to know how to keep Shabbos.
I'm saying the mitzvah starts now.
The mitzvah starts right. Very good. It starts earlier.
She is learning Torah though. She does get some credit for learning Torah.
As a eno mitzvah vosa, as a person who is not commanded and did it anyhow.
Right, but she still gets some schar.
Some schar, but not as much as a man, because a man is obligated.
She gets some schar.
Some schar as a eno mitzvah vosa. But Shlomo said, Max Meilach, the Rebbe Meilach, is saying a fascinating idea. Maybe we could say, well, like what Meilach is saying. When she's learning Hilchot Shabbos, that's what she's doing. She's giving Shabbos. That's a chiddush. I like Max's chiddush. But let's get back for the YouTube viewers. So we got sidetracked. Shmuel asked the kasha. I'm going to give him an answer. So we said before that a woman doesn't make birchas Torah. How does she make birchas Torah? She's potter from Talmud Torah. So there are a lot of answers to this question. So very good. You didn't like the answer that some say, that she's obligated to study the halachas of the ones that she's obligated. Not really. Like Max said, that's Hilchot Shabbos. That's not Talmud Torah. So there are a lot of answers. The Brisker Rav says an answer that there's a din, it's a real Brisker teretz, Torah requires a bracha. It doesn't have to do with you. You're obligated.
The Noel Yashiv thing, it's like you button the top button, he's like, that's what I do.
You're obligated, you're not obligated. That's not the point. There's a Gemara in Brachas. Torah requires a bracha. So a woman makes a bracha when she studies Torah. It's not to do with obligated or not. Torah time bracha. As they say in Yeshiva Shavelt, it's the chapter of Torah. The Torah itself requires a bracha. That's the Brisker Rav teretz. So therefore, a woman makes the bracha on Birkas Torah on the Torah because it's on the Torah itself requires a bracha, not the obligation that shots that makes the key of bracha. The Torah itself requires a bracha. That's the Bishop Bob's Teretz. There are a lot of other tools into this kasha that she's required to say the parashas of the Talmud. There are certain obligations, things that women does say. So maybe the bracha goes on that, on the Kabbanos or on Tehillim or whatever she says. But that's just a side point that I brought in to show the difference between women's learning and men's learning. But for man's learning, and this is the gay for our Vard over here, a man's learning is to show that the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is not only just a way to get to better performance of mitzvahs, but the actual mitzvah itself, learning itself is a mitzvah. The Gemara says that there was this fellow named Ben Dama who Ben Achos to Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel's nephew asked him, I already know everything. He's about guy, but no. I already know everything. Can I learn Greek? So he told him, not really. He told him, find a time which is not day and not night, and then you can study Greek. Which basically he said no. He gave him like a yeshivish answer. So what was the Shlach of Atalia? What was the dialogue between the nephew and Rabbi Shmuel? The nephew felt, Torah is just a way to get the proper performance of mitzvahs. I already know how to do all the mitzvahs. What do I have to study for? So it is, hello, McFly, that's for a woman. A woman's learning is only to get the proper performance. But Rabbi Shmuel told him was, no, there's a mitzvah itself of studying Torah itself is a mitzvah, not only because it brings to mitzvah performance. Now, we're going to say Nasiv and Nishma, and then we're going to say how it has to do with Tisha B'Av. If the Jewish people would have said Nasiv and Nishma, Nishma and Naseh, then that would have meant what? They're being macabre upon themselves to do the mitzvahs. How are you going to do the mitzvahs? We don't know what Shabbos is. We don't know what Shiluach HaKein is. We don't know what any mitzvah is. Sukkah. So how do you know how to do the mitzvah? By studying Torah. That's what Nishma V'Naseh would be. That means that we're not really accepting upon ourselves Torah study. We don't care about Torah study itself. It's just a way to get to mitzvah performance. That's not what the Jewish people said. They said, Naseh v'nishma. They were macabre upon themselves to do the mitzvahs. And then they said they're going to study Torah. What's the difference? What's the difference? Why are we making a big deal about the order? Teretz is very simple. If they accept upon themselves mitzvahs and then Torah, that shows that it wasn't just a Torah study because it brings to mitzvah performance. No, they already did the mitzvahs. We were macabre upon ourselves to do the mitzvahs. And we're still going to study Torah. That shows that the study of the Torah is not just a way to get the mitzvah performance, but it's the mitzvah itself. That's why the Gemara makes a big deal about the fact that they said Naseh and then Nishma. What's the difference in the order? The order is very important. The way they did it, Naseh and Nishma, shows that they were macabre upon themselves the fact that Torah itself is a tachlis b'fnei atzmo, is an accomplishment unto itself, not just because it brings the mitzvah performance. Nishma v'Naseh would not apply that. That would apply that really they're being macabre upon themselves mitzvahs. They just have to study Torah in order to know how to do the mitzvahs. But no, mitzvahs and then Torah, this shows that the Torah itself is a mitzvah. Now I'm going to bring this into the Churban Habayis, to Tisha B'Av. The Gemara says in the Dorim that why was the Beis HaMikdash destroyed? Because they forsaked our Torah. Ozvam es Torah. Says the Gemara, really? I thought they studied Torah. So I'm going to say now Chiddush. This is not the Pashim Pshat in this Gemara, there are a lot of other Pshatim, but we're going to say the Beit HaLevi's cute Pshat into this Gemara. Says the Gemara, Max, they didn't make Birkas HaTorah. What? The Jewish people in the days of the Korban did not make Birkas HaTorah. First of all, why did they make Birkas HaTorah? And so they didn't make Birkas HaTorah. That's the reason to destroy the Beis HaMikdash, because they didn't make Birkas HaTorah. Very strange. Max, you here? Shmuel, very strange. Since the Beis HaLevi, a very cute shot, if I can say this. Not cute, the Churban Habayis was anything but cute. It was very sad. But this explanation of the Gemara is a cute shot. Says the Ran, Rabbeinu Nisim, one of the Rishonim, the reason why they didn't make Birchas Torah, this is his lashon, this is his word. Shelo hayu Torah chashuva b'neihem. The Torah wasn't important in their eyes. Shetahiru levarich aleha, that it deserves a bracha. Shelo hayu asking ba l'shma, that they're not learning it the Shema for the proper kavanas. We're not going to make Birchas Torah. We're not really learning it on a high level for the right reason. We're not going to make Birchas Torah. So we can talk for an hour about what that means. But I'm going to finish up over here with the Beis Halevi's pshat and what the Ran means. According to what we said before, we have the pshat and this is the Ran. What's the Ran saying? That they felt that Limud Torah is not a mitzvah unto itself. It's just a way to do mitzvahs. Like we said before. Lo ama oretz chassid. A person that doesn't know anything cannot be a chassid. Cannot be chassidish. No, it doesn't mean wearing a galtel or having pious. It means it can't be a chassid. If any other chassid, you can't do the mitzvahs properly. If you don't know what you're allowed and not allowed to do, you can't do the mitzvahs properly. So they felt that Torah was only that. It was just a way to get the mitzvah performance. But it wasn't a tachlis b'fnei atzma or something unto itself. The Gemara says in Menachos that how do you know what mitzvahs you make a bracha, what mitzvahs you don't? Mila, circumcision, you make a bracha. Why? Because right after you do it, you're done. The mitzvah is finished, you make a bracha. Let's say you do something, but the mitzvah is not finished. You don't make a bracha, you still have to do more. So if Talmud Torah, when you study Torah, if after you study, you're not done, you're not going to make a bracha.
Why aren't you done? You study, then you learn sugya, the whole entity of the Gemara. Why can't that be considered?
Very good. So you know what?
I give a super huge answer.
You know what? I'm going to finish and then I'm going to wait for your answers. Very good. If you hold that studying Torah is itself an accomplishment, then you make a bracha. Because after you learn the sugya, to use your words, you did the mitzvah. But if you have a warped cheshbon, that learning Torah is not anything, it's only a way to get the mitzvah performance, then when do you make the bracha on the milah? Not when you learn hilchas milah, but when you do the milah. When you learn the halachas of milah, I'm not going to make Birchas Torah. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing the mitzvah milah now. Mitzvah milah is when you do the mitzvah milah. When you're studying Torah, if you look at Torah study as not a accomplishment unto itself, it's just a way to bring the mitzvah performance. When do you make the bracha? When I do the mitzvah. When I sit in the sukkah, I'll make the bracha. When I'm learning hilchos sukkah, I'm not going to make a bracha. Beis Halevi's pshat, beautiful pshat. That's why what the Ran means. That's why they didn't make a bracha, because they felt they weren't doing anything. They were lamdonim, yeshivish. Just like the Gemara Menachos says, you don't make a bracha on the act which is not a mitzvah. When do you make the bracha? When you complete it. So according to this, now we have a pshat. Why was that so bad? So we asked two questions. Why did they make Birchas Torah, and why is it so bad? So they didn't make it. Beis Halevi is saying because they were lamdonim. They felt that I'm not making it now. When I sit in the sukkah, I'll make the bracha. Right now, I'm not doing anything. It's just a way to get to mitzvah performance. So that answers the first question. Why didn't they make Birchas Torah? But the bigger question is, why is that so bad? That's so bad. To look at Torah study as not a mitzvah unto itself, but just something which brings to mitzvah performance, but that in itself is only just a preparatory act that you need in order to do the mitzvah. But the actual study itself is really not something important. That's a very bad thing. And that deserves the churban. The Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because they didn't realize the importance of Limud Torah. It's not only just a way to get to mitzvah performance. It's the learning itself is a tremendous thing. So that's the lesson that we learned from this: the chashivas of Limud Torah.